Hello everybody and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we're doing a sort of Q&A. If you're new here, my name is Lewis and I'm a pilot. Been a content creator since before it was cool to be a content creator. Started my flight training back in 2008, finished my private pilot in 2012. That seems like a long time that I was doing my private. There's a whole story behind it. If you want to hear about that, ask me the question in the comments on this video and I might talk about it next time. Went through all my ratings, got my flight instructor certificate in 2016. Became an instructor, started making videos flying with my students, became an airline pilot, made a few videos there, went back to instructing, and here we are in this Q&A. Let's call it Better Call Lou. That's the name we're going to roll with. Got some questions from the comments section of a recent video, so we're going to go through those, and also some external stuff as well from like Instagram. Got a cool voice message to go through as well, so if you're interested in sending a voice message in, DM me on Instagram with the question and I'll play your voice on the video. How cool's that? Not as cool as this though, because this video is actually sponsored by the wonderful people at Flying Guys. Look how easily, even though I'm wearing this headset, that these glasses slipped on underneath it. And I don't even feel them on my head underneath the headset because that's the Flying Eyes difference. Flying Eyes are made by pilots for pilots. And as this is an aviation channel, it's a perfect combination. Flying Eyes were made to be thin and flexible, as you can see, which translates into being able to put them on and take them off very easily while you're wearing your aviation headset. They're patented for use under headsets and they don't cause head pain, which was a major problem I was having with other sunglasses I was wearing before. This is a new frame style, by the way. This is the Peregrines. As of this video, they're available for pre-order. They're made to not give you head pain. As you can see, there are so many different frame style options and lens options as well. The beauty of every single one of the frame options though is that they are flexible and very, very difficult to break. Eyewear that actually works for pilots. It's a game changer. If you're not wearing Flying Eyes, I always say you're doing it wrong. You can use my discount code LewDix to save 10% on the Flying Eyes website. So thank you to Flying Eyes for sponsoring this video. Now, it's Better Call Lou time. Would you ever consider becoming a DPE? That is a really, really good question. And my application to be a DPE has actually been in for the past, I'd say, year and a half. Hopefully one day they will call. I have 3,609 hours as of making this video, and the instruction that I've given in that time is 1,754.2 hours. I've had plenty of experience with student pilots. I know what it takes to be a pilot, as I've made pilots before. That sounds weird. I'm not like Geppetto, you know. I don't have any wooden boys in my closet. I'm a real boy. I've been on this side of the fence, you know, helping people get to be a pilot, and then I'd like to be on that side of the fence, be that gateway to help people get to be a pilot, to get to the certificate. I think that would be a really, really cool thing, and also it pays really well. So anyway, question on the transition or checkout from low wing, i.e. PA-28 to a high wing Cessna 172. What do you see most pilots struggle with the most, and what do you as an instructor tell those pilots to help the transition and checkout be successful? The way that you fly is very, very similar. At least that's what I've found. I've flown many different types of aircraft: Cessna 172s, PA-28s, which happen to be my favorite, Diamond, Cirrus, Grumman. Too much to count, although I just counted 5. Let's say you're doing slow flight, pitch for airspeed, power for altitude. It's all very similar. You will find subtle differences with how it feels. Obviously, going from a Piper Cherokee cockpit to Cessna 172 cockpit, you're going to feel different. You're in a different environment. You know, how you get into the plane is different, so it could throw you off a little bit. And I do find that people do get thrown off by the different environment, but I do see people get very comfortable very quickly. People put it in their brain that this is a massive transition. It's not really a massive transition. One thing I do see though, from, you know, your example Piper to Cessna, is when people are doing stalls, people tend to try and spin you a lot more in Cessnas than they do Pipers. I find Pipers to be very much more forgiving in maneuvers than Cessnas, especially when it comes to stalls and on landings as well. The running joke on this channel is Cessna 172s float for days on landing. They are much better on water than they are on runways. But I would say if you are going through that transition, I don't know why you would want to go from a Piper to a Cessna in the first place. Piper is the superior product. You're not going to struggle as much as you think you are. Just like you do with your current aircraft, know your airspeeds, know your systems, know that plane inside out, and you'll be absolutely fine. What's the hardest thing transitioning from private to instrument? Well, you lose your vision outside. As a private pilot, you are a visual pilot. Your eyes should be outside of the plane 90% of the time, inside of the plane 10% of the time. You're now going into instrument training where you are 100% on the inside of the plane. I mean, you always have to be ahead of the plane, but in instrument training, it is so important that you know what's coming next, know what to expect. That's the biggest thing that I see people struggle with. For example, if you're going to fly an approach, let's say, and you don't know what's coming next, you're going to start to fall behind that approach, and you might be off on something, one thing here, and while you're trying to get that back, something else goes off because you're over-focused on this. That division of attention is really, really important, and that's where the instrument scan comes in. There's three things that we talk about when it comes to instrument training: instrument cross-check, instrument interpretation, and aircraft control. Instrument cross-check and looking at what the instruments are telling you and then understanding what they're telling you is so important, and then you can decide what your control inputs are going to be to make happen what you want to happen. But also thinking ahead, knowing what's coming next, not only that manual hand flying of the aircraft, but knowing what to expect next. That's so big, and what I see people struggle with at first in instrument training. You're going to go away from instrument sessions wanting a nap. That's how I was anyway. What's the best way to stand out when applying for an airline? Good question. I'm trying to stand out to a few different places at the moment. Just present yourself well. I've found that if you have a nice personality, if you present yourself as somebody that, the interviewer would want to be locked away in a cockpit with, I think that goes a really, really long way. All pilots that are going through interview processes with airlines have the qualifications that the airlines need. You know how to fly an aeroplane. Make your personality stand out now. At least that's what I try and do anyway. How many hours do you have, and what grade instructor are you? Well, 3609. And what grade instructor are you? I don't know. My students would have to grade me. Hopefully not an F. There's no real grade system here. How do you encourage pilots to increase their personal minimums, specifically crosswind and gusty conditions? And there's a couple of replies on this one. With my students, I always harp on creating personal minimums, as every instructor should do, but also sticking to those personal minimums, especially for while you're training and while you're getting comfortable with the aircraft. And then when you come out of training, I always tell people you have to go and fly. I'm not the type of instructor that wants to take a private student all the way through, get them through the private, and then instantly go to instrument training. No. Take some time. Go and build some time on your own. There is no better time to learn something than when you're on your own and the only person that can fix the situation is you. Don't just stick with an instructor all the time and every single flight be with an instructor. And with that flying that you do on your own without an instructor, you're already stretching your skill level. And when you stretch your skill level, your personal minimums might start to change. You have to go out and fly. You have to go out and do it. You have to give yourself the chance to experience different things. When it comes to things like gusty conditions and crosswind limits, you have to show yourself that you can do these things before you can change your personal minimums, right? I remember there was once a really gusty landing. I was flying with best friend Otto. If you remember Otto, you've been around the channel a long time. We went down to a place called Vero Beach, and it was such a gusty day. I was battling that wind, and I got the plane down so smoothly. One of the best landings that I've ever done, which is why I remember it to this day. But I remember that day, my pilot skills got stretched. I became a better pilot because of that day, and also I showed myself that I can deal with these situations, you know what I mean? So my personal minimums changed. So now I fly in gusting 50. No, that's a joke. Nobody can argue with personal minimums. If you are not comfortable doing something, especially in flight training, you don't do it. Check ride wise as well. Personal minimums is so important. They're going to ask you on your private pilot check ride, and maybe on other check rides as well. What's the importance of setting personal minimums? It's about safety. It's what you're comfortable with. Let's see these responses on that. 2 words, repetition and confidence. Yep. Another one said flying in them. That's basically what I said in a lot less words. Maybe they should be doing the Q&A. Any plans to do long flying adventures, such as visiting the lower 48 states? I'll tell you, I would absolutely love to do that, but I don't have the luxury of owning my own plane, and it's not really easy when you're renting. Rental prices have skyrocketed, really. I remember when I started renting outside of flight training, I was paying $109 an hour at one place, $115 an hour at a different place, and now it's skyrocketed. But when you're renting, it's difficult to take the plane out as much as you want, which is why why you don't see me on the channel do as many fun flights as I'd like to do. It's difficult to do that all the time. So to do long trips, which I would absolutely love to do, I'd do a tour up the east coast of the United States, across, down the west coast, and then back across again. Like, that would be so cool, but without my own plane, difficult to do that. So I don't have that luxury. There's a lot of channels on YouTube that have actually, I don't want to bring the tone down here, they've surpassed my channel because they've got their own plane and they can do stuff like that, and people love to see those flying adventures sorts of videos, and I wish I could do it, man. I wish I could do it. Well, the standard takeoff minimums Part 91 states that private, like my own airplane, I don't need any visibility. What would be the correct answer as to what is the standard? You're absolutely right. I mean, you answered your own question there. Part 91, there's no minimum. You can take off 0, 0. You can take off with 0 visibility. Now, is that a wise decision? No, it's not. And this is going to be a question on your instrument check ride. This is where the personal minimums come back in that we were speaking about before. I always tell my people, if you're going to take off in low visibility, always make sure that the weather is above the minimums for the approach that you would use to get back in to the airport that you're departing from. Why do I say that? Very, very simple. If something goes wrong and you need to get back in IMC, you know that you can get back in on an approach and land that plane. Are you working towards flying for an airline? I used to fly for an airline. For newer people to the channel, you won't know that I used to be an airline pilot. Yeah, I used to work for a regional airline. I was first officer, got furloughed through COVID, and then went back after that as first officer again, then upgraded to captain, and then left pretty quickly to pursue my own business and for other reasons. All you need to know is that I saw bankruptcy coming. If you're not familiar with Silver Airways, I mean, you're not going to be, because they just went out of business. They just ceased operations. They went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy and didn't come out of it. Hundreds of millions of dollars of debt, ceased operations, unfortunately, which is really, really sad. Sad for the people that work at Silver Airways, and my heart goes out to everybody there, apart from the big wigs that caused this all to happen. RIP Silver Airways. There's a couple of videos on my channel of me flying the ATR for Silver Airways. I'll link one in the corner. You can go and watch that, and we can reminisce on good times. Now, if you have a question and you would like me to answer in video form, face to face, let me know in the comments. Maybe we could make Better Call Lew a little series.
Hey Lew, is it true that when companies such as airliners or cargo liners are looking to employ a pilot, they actually prefer students who have gone down the integrated route as opposed to the modular route? Or is this just a myth? Cheers.
So from his accent there, you can tell that Grant is not from the United States. Now, the difference between Part 141 and Part 61. Part 141 is very, very structured, approved by the FAA, usually at the bigger flight schools, Embry-Riddle, L3, ATP, places like that. The Part 61 is basically, it's unstructured, but it is structured at the same time. The benefits of Part 141 and going that route is you can get to the airlines quicker. In aviation, quicker is not usually better. Talk about get there itis. If you're starting training with I want to get finished quick, you're gonna cut corners. I don't know. I think it's more difficult for you to come through and be the best pilot that you can be. I'm going to get to the main point in a second, but I'm going to talk smack about 141, because I always laugh at people that come through 141 and think that they're better than Part 61, the less structured route. We all get to the same place. We all get the certificates. I've flown with multiple people from Part 141 schools that have come to do a checkout or get an IPC or a flight review or whatever, and they are deficient on so many simple things, simple pilot tasks like trimming, landing, which isn't a choice, by the way, maintaining center line on takeoffs, stalls, you know, putting it into a spin. I had a guy come to me, he got his instrument rating, and actually he flew quite well. And he told me in that flight, he said, yeah, you know, I've got my instrument rating, but I just don't feel comfortable flying on my own. I said earlier in this, go out and fly by yourself. As a pilot, go out and enjoy it. Go and be without an instructor so you can gain the confidence and stretch those pilot skills. A lot of people at 141 schools are not doing that. They're just so focused on getting to the prize. I don't think they're doing themselves a service, and I don't think the schools are doing them a really good service either. At the end of the day, they want your money. Going back to the question, is there an advantage when it comes to airlines? I have never had a situation where I've thought that because I've done all my training Part 61, I've never felt held back. Never. Not once. I don't really think there's an advantage other than getting there quicker. Now, there's a Part 141 school that posts online and I've seen it a few times now, and it just makes me cringe every time I see it. They post like pictures or they've made a video. Blue Line Aviation. I'll name names. I'm actually going to look it up. There's a few posts on here that's like records broken. Oh my God. No offense to Marshall, right? Absolutely no offense to this kid. 2 months and 19 days, you're going from IFR to commercial to CFI to double I to commercial multi to MEI. 2 months and 19 days. This next one, Thomas. Fair play to you, lad. But to be boasting about breaking a record 3 months and 27 days from private to IFR to commercial, CFI, double I, multi, and then MEI really makes me cringe. Trying to throw it in people's faces that we've got this FAA approved program and we can get you through as quickly as possible. I don't think these people are coming through and being the best pilots that they could be. If you're being rushed by your flight school, I see that as a major red flag. But it's not just me. Oh, here we go. New record for the career pilot program in just 3 months and 29 days. Beginning with no flying experience, he earned an outstanding 7 certificates. Let's just read the comments on this. I did mine 0 to MEI in 91 days, so I didn't break the record. Like, it might be said jokingly, but people are going to see this and try and break records and think that it's okay. Go in with a mindset of doing it quicker than everybody else. It's not a recipe for disaster. So it's really actually bad of this Blue Line Aviation to be posting stuff like this. This shouldn't be allowed. Somebody commented, Blue Line said, the FAA sets flight time minimums and does not have a calendar time minimum. A college degree is a similar concept. If you take more classes at a time, pass them all, you get to the same degree sooner than someone who takes less classes. Full on argument in the comments here. I'm fully aware of the minimums. Just because you pass a college class doesn't mean you go and put your resume in to be a professor. Oh, he's cooked. We're talking about someone's son or daughter jumping into a cockpit with a CFI who hasn't even flown for a full season and trusting their abilities. Nothing in aviation should ever be rushed. Whoever you are a legend. Another one says, congrats, now go and get some experience. A guy who hadn't touched a plane 3 months ago is now teaching folks how to be commercial multi-engine pilots. This is really unsafe. The blind leading the blind. They are getting absolutely cooked. That was a long section. Thank you to Flying Eyes for sponsoring this video. Look how easily that slipped on underneath my headset. It's comfortable. I don't feel it on my face. They are absolutely amazing. You can get a 10% discount using my discount code LewDix. Go to the link that's in the corner and in the description. Thank you to Flying Eyes for sponsoring, and thank you to you for watching. See you next time on Better Call Lew.